plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for controlling of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south of the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing
Pull it
human
together.
bodies,
Pull it together. You alright?
okay, for standing human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings, slaves are running away, your crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are?
Chill out, Jake.
Gentlemen, you know what your problems are? I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves.
How long they say it's gonna last for?
I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes.
Stop right there. Now remember how I told you that that's used to pit black people against each other?
Yep.
To make them envious of each other?
Yep.
And you see how it's still going on till this day?
Yep.
So you can honestly say that it was successful, right?
Yeah.
Alright, keep reading.
These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantation, status on the plantation, attitude of owner, whether the slaves lived in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, or south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a little list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the darker skinned slaves versus the light skinned slaves, and the light skinned slaves versus the dark skinned slave. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us, that they must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them.
Alright, so from what you done read so far, what can you tell me about the Willie Lynch Letter?
Well, he is basically saying that you have to use all of your slaves against each other, so basically they can't trust anybody but their master, basically.
Now, you ever notice sometimes how other races stick together and help each other, but black people at times don't necessarily have that cohesion? We rather do better than the next person rather than help. That's because of the Willie Lynch letter. You see how he controlled their minds and controlled the outcome of future African Americans.
Yep.
All right. Finish reading to yourself.